Righty ho! Good morning, everybody, on this Wednesday morning. I hope you're exceedingly well and trading is going fantastically. Okay, without further ado, let's get into it. Resistance here with Microsemi, looking at resistance around about the just below $22 mark. Some nice resistance, nice bounces. My question's got to be, are we going to be able to get the ratios with regards to this? You're going to have to use that as your highest point of that range there. So that's where your calculation is going to be for your stop loss. I had a momentary lapse there. Okay, so for your stop loss, you're going to have to take that into account. My question on that is, are you going to be able to get the ratios? You are going to be able to use a limit order should you want to, as it's going to come up to the resistance there. Again, folks, I can't stress how important this is. Make sure that you're using longs and shorts. Okay, the markets are at a high now, at a significant high, because of all this fake money that's been pumped into the fake money, real money, but it's not backed by anything with this quantitative easing. There's got to be a time where there's a sell-off. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be now. I'm not going to say it's going to be in 2 weeks' time, or nothing like that. But the key to this is being able to have long and short positions. It really is absolutely crucial. Okay, so then we have XEL. Here we have some resistance at around about the 28.35 mark. So around about that area there, bounce, bounce, bounce. I would probably feel inclined to use a stop order on this if I was going to trade it. Obviously, you've got that previous high here. It was a pretty big up day yesterday. So there may be a bit of a tendency for it to continue going up. Therefore, I would most certainly be looking to use a stop order should I get into that trade. But I guess you could call it the fifth bounce. So I'd want the confirmation of the change of direction there. Then we have Nike, which again is hitting some resistance around about the $54 mark. There is some upward trending support there. Again, I mean, it's been on quite a strong rally in line with the markets over the last few months. I would again want to be using a stop order on that if I was to trade it. NKE, ATI, what do we have? I didn't see a trade here. There was maybe some previous resistance around about that area there, where you got one bounce, a second bounce, a third bounce, but this actually broke a resistance line. I know Marcus doesn't mind those to trade those, but I certainly wouldn't trade something like that when they actually break out there. So in my mind, there was no trade, but if you were trading, if you're happy to take it when it breaks the resistance, then that trade was probably triggered yesterday, more inclined than today. So then we had Sierra India November Alpha, and a downward trending resistance line. I couldn't see anything that really struck me here as a trade. Yeah, unless you were looking at some resistance around about the $59 mark. Around about the $59 mark. Sorry about that, folks. I should really turn my Skype off when I get onto that. But nothing really that excited me. If it got up to the resistance line here, then I would be that's a reasonable looking trade there. Okay. So then we have AMGN. Some upward trending support here. Bounce, 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 bounce. You're going to have to use a stop order. Obviously, it's an upward trending support line there. Then we have CCL, Charlie Lima. Got a support line around about the 36.30 mark. Yep, again, I would be probably looking for a stop order there. You probably got your 10% within that range. So, nothing untoward. Let's see, MFT. Nice upward trending stock, upward trending bounce, bounce, bounce. It has been up to around about the $16 mark. So again, I don't know if you're going to get the ratios in there, if that's going to work, but you'd have to calculate that. ATRO is the next one. It's a downward trending resistance line. Again, I mean, this is a great looking stock as far as a downward trending resistance line goes. Yeah, but you're going to have to use it as a stop order. I'll tell you, I think that if there is a correction in the market, which is obviously a sell-off, then there is going to be it's gonna sell off hard, and it's gonna sell off quickly as well. So if this is why I say keep long and short positions, because whatever direction the market goes, then at least you're going to be covered. Then we have CME, Charlie Mike Echo. We've got some internal resistance at the $59 mark. Then just below the $60 mark, there's an external resistance. Therefore, I would be more inclined to take the trade off the further resistance, the longer term resistance, than the internal resistance. Then we have UELTA. This is a stock coming down to support. Now, I'll tell you, this is concerning me a little bit. If I was going to trade this, I mean, firstly, you've got to be aware of this, okay? Because that, according to the rules, is going to have to stick to your area of support. This is pretty scary to me, though. What you normally find is if a stock gaps, then it will find some consolidation along here, because it's going to hit all of the stop loss. You see a little bit of a pullback, and normally you see a little bit of consolidation, but normally what happens is it continues selling off. Not all the time, but most of the time. ATMI. I saw a downward trending resistance line here again. It did break up yesterday. I would probably be quite surprised if it didn't continue up going north, particularly if the markets are up again today on that one. But you would be protected from that, because obviously you've got to use a stop order to get in. Then we use CRK. I saw some support around about the $13 mark. It's probably at about $14 now, so not overly excited right now. Might be good for a alert around about the 13.10 mark or 13.20 mark, something like that. Then we have NOC, November Oscar Charlie, upward trending support line, but again sort of mid-range. So probably not right now, maybe next Wednesday or possibly Friday, should there be a sell-off today. Then we have GM, General Motors, and a nice upward trending support line. There was a little bit of a sell-off here, but a consolidation. Again, it's an upward trending stock. Therefore, I would most certainly use a stop order in order to get into that trade if I was going to trade it. And then we have ZEP. The only thing I could see here was this downward trending resistance line. I would be much more inclined to see it come up to that resistance line there. I think we're trying to justify taking a trade, particularly with a big up day here. So not overly excited by that. So yeah, I hope that that helps you out with regards to your trading, and that you place some nice winning trades. I know the last couple of weeks there have been some. Well, last week particularly, there were some stocks that gapped pretty aggressively in one direction or the other, and I think a lot of those were around announcements and what have you. But there certainly seems to be some funny things going on in the market. So again, be very specific about your trading, because trading's like dating. You don't want to go for anything that's just available. All the best, folks. Hope you have a good one. Cheers. Bye-bye.